Power, speak a little louder.
If there was a pill
Hungry for that money, I'm coming to devour.
that could give you 5 minutes
Spit it so they get it. I'm embedded with the power.
of pure power,
I'm embedded with the power.
would you take it?
Yeah, so this jumped onto my radar a little while ago, and you know, it's a superhero film. It stars Jamie Foxx and Joseph Gordon-Levitt, so I thought, okay, I can give that a shot. So the general plot is we are set in a world where a drug is running rampant on the streets, and this drug, when you take it, gives you 5 minutes of superpower. So essentially, like, the high lasts 5 minutes, and you have a superpower for 5 minutes. It is not a random power. It is whatever it taps into in your DNA. So that may be ice powers, or it may be invisibility, or it may be super strength. But innately in everybody, this film posits, we have a latent superpower in our DNA, and this pill brings that out. And so for 5 minutes you have a superpower, and because it's an illegal drug, the people who are getting this are overdosing, and they are, you know, controlling its sale on the streets and all that kind of stuff. And so the police are trying to stop it, but really not doing a great job. And so what you have is Jamie Foxx stepping up and deciding that I'm going to get to the bottom of this. I'm going to find out where this is coming from. So I'm going to go to the low-level dealers and work my way up to whoever is the head of this thing, and I'm going to take them out. And of course he has reasons, which I won't spoil here, but suffice it to say, he has a personal connection to this drug and what it's doing to people. And so you follow him, and Joseph Gordon-Levitt plays a police officer who uses the drug, but uses it to combat people on the drug. So it's, you know, sort of a fight fire with fire.
Yeah, the performance enhancer.
Yeah, exactly. It's a performance enhancer for him. And then, you know, in his superpower is invulnerability. So in one of his first scenes, there's a bank robber.
But it's the same power each time, right?
Yes, correct.
So the mystery and the fear is that the first time you do it, you don't know what's going to happen.
Right. And in fact, some people who take it just spontaneously combust and die.
So does the department sanction JGL's use of I can't believe I just did that. Okay, so he is off the books obtaining this illegal drug.
Correct.
For a good reason, but he has to hide this. He can't just be like, "Hey guys, I need a bunch of this stuff in my office so I can go fight crime."
Correct.
Interesting.
So
okay.
He's invulnerable, right? So like if he gets shot, like they do a great job, because it's not like the bullet bounces off and it's like Superman.
Mm-hmm.
The bullet hits him, and will leave maybe a scar, right? But it doesn't really hurt him. It's like, oh, I've got a headache now.
There's a photo somewhere in the slideshow I'm going to throw up later for on YouTube for this one that's got that slow-mo picture of him getting shot in the head.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's in the trailer, I think, too.
Yeah, it leaves a scar, and I think throughout the film you'll see his eyes like bloodshot, because he's just been shot.
Getting shot in the face all the time.
Right, exactly. So and then the third main character is a character named Robin, played by Dominique Fishback, who is sort of a streetwise young dealer, and she has a sick mother, and she's using the money to help out her family. So she has noble reasons to do it. It's, you know, a criminal with a heart of gold type thing. But she's a high schooler. She's a kid, and she gets wrapped up in this world, and kind of goes on this adventure with them. So it's a good premise. Like if we're talking about just on the level of concept, I think it's fine. It's, you know, somebody takes a pill in front of you. You don't know what you're about to be up against. Is this guy going to be like a human bomb? Is he going to be to burst into flames? Like what's going to happen to this person?
Does he just get like kind of sticky, weird skin?
Yeah, he's like,
yeah, it's like, oh, gross.
Yeah,
Sorry.
he just starts like morphing into a frog.
He starts molting.
Yes,
He's shedding his skin. Ew.
Yes. Oh, gross. I wish I hadn't seen that.
I thought you could open the vault. No.
No, I just shed.
Just my collagen.
You just turn into goop, and then you can like go through the
fence.
Yeah.
Yeah. What if you turn into goop, but you can't actually move? Like, all right, now crawling through. Oh, yes. You're just in a puddle. Like, oh,
you
okay.
just turn into goop, and somebody else has to pick you up and shove you into.
Just scoop you in with a little funnel.
Right.
Pour you into a funnel. Like, oh. Guys, I can't do anything. I still can't do anything. Still just didn't.
Right. I'm here, but we have to wait 5 minutes for me to recongeal, or
Can somebody tilt the room so I can run back under the door? Help.
Yeah, man.
Please help.
JGL is good at tilting rooms, or hallways rather.
Oh, got it. Yeah, he can do that.
Yeah. Okay. So anyway, a decent premise, right? But ultimately, it doesn't quite deliver on that premise. And the reason I saw this was for the strength of its two main stars, Jamie Foxx and Joseph Gordon-Levitt. They both do fine here, but at the end of the day, they don't have a lot to work with, and what they do have to work with is kind of formulaic. Like it's kind of exactly what you would expect. So neither one of them are standout
stock
roles.
Powers.
Yeah, and it's not a standout role at all. It's just kind of like Joseph Gordon-Levitt plays a cop. Okay. What does he want to do? Stop the bad guys.
It's like you immediately go to like, these are stock powers and these are sort of stock roles. And so you immediately can think of, all right, well, I know what the set pieces are going to be. It's going to be, him getting shot a lot and things that would normally kill a regular person, or being able to take punches and just fight big groups of people. And Jamie Foxx can burn things. Right.
Well, actually, we don't know what Jamie Foxx's powers are. But
I saw a picture of him with some heat. Something heat related. I don't know.
Okay. Potentially. But
no, it's better if I'm wrong, because I haven't seen this film and I very much have just anti-spoiled it. So I don't know. Something's going on with the pictures. I don't know.
Something's going on.
Okay.
But look, like at the end of the day, the character, so the third main character, Robin, is a very much a wasted character. She is a drug dealer and she's doing her thing for her family, and that is fine. We've seen that a million times, but it's fine. But by the end of it, they don't quite know how to wrap up her story. So it almost feels like you could just lift that entire character out of the script and it wouldn't really make much of a difference. You could give that role to Joseph Gordon-Levitt, like everything that she does, give it to him and let it be a buddy movie. And then it's kind of like Lethal Weapon with superpowers. And it's, kind of like it would, I don't know, at least be maybe a little more focused. Because there's like a whole side plot where Robin wants to be a rapper when she grows up. And so this plays out in essentially two scenes. One is a dream sequence in which her teacher is like, "Are you paying attention to me?" And then she's like, no, I don't forget what it was. The setup was like she was writing lyrics or something. I don't remember. She wasn't paying attention. And then he was like, "Well, what do you want to do?" And she's like, "I'm going to be a rapper." And he says, "Okay, fine. Well, then rap for me. Show me what you got."
That's always what rappers want to hear. Yeah, well, rap for me right this second.
Rap right now. Especially from like this white, professor, like collegiate looking scholar.
I'll be the judge of that. Thank you very much.
I'll be the judge of your rapping.
Yeah, spit those rhymes and tell me about tell me do that thing.
Spit those rhymes.
By the way,
or you're wasting my times.
See? I used to think I could be a rapper, and life punched me right between the pants.
Between the pants.
right between my pants. So the funny,
I had 2 pair of pants hanging up, and life just went right between.
I would hate to be the classmate in that scene because like she's sitting next to me and she's like, I'm gonna be a rapper. He's like, oh really, rap for me? And I'm just like, please don't.
Oh no!
Can we just finish the class so I can leave?
This is gonna be so cringy.
Can you do this after hours? Would that be
Right,
okay with
right.
you? If I didn't have to sit here. I saw there was a clip of a guy on like a morning show on TV somewhere in Alabama, and he was a freestyle rapper and it was a live interview, and I'm sure you've seen it.
Oh, I love this. It's
like,
so good.
Oh, go ahead and do the rap, and he's like, years ago they tried to, and he's just kind of like holding that grin like at the camera,
Yeah.
and he can't think of anything, and
Years ago they tried to.
and he finally is just like, is this live? And she's like,
Is this live?
Years ago they tried to, and then she finally, what she do? She finally just says, like,
Do you want to read something from your book? And he just goes, so defeated. He goes,
yes.
yeah, yes. Oh, that's a great video.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah, look that up, everybody.
All right.
After the podcast.
So,
don't do it right now.
she has aspirations to be a rapper.
Yeah, exactly. And so he's like, rap for me, and you know the whole scene plays out. And then there's one other scene where she says the same thing to Jamie Foxx. I want to be a rapper, because he's like, you don't need to be selling drugs for your whole life or whatever. And she's like, I'm gonna be a rapper.
Yeah.
And then he says, well then let me hear something.
Okay.
And then so she does, and she raps for him, and he just like looks at her like, okay, all right, you're pretty good.
Yeah.
And yeah, she's good, but like that's the only 2 times that this plays into anything. Like I almost expected, I don't know, we were gonna see her superpower, and it was like when she raps, fire or whatever.
Right.
Like
Sorry, I thought you meant like 2020 lingo fire.
like it's great. Nah, I mean like her rhymes are straight fire.
When she-
like she's just rapping and like fire's coming out of her mouth.
when she spits rhymes and she spits flames. When she raps, it's lit.
It's lit
Like
like a dragon.
like Aldrich Killian.
Right. But yeah, it never plays into anything. Like it's so weird. And the movie also kind of like really thinks highly of itself. It reminds me of Bright.
Oh no.
So Bright is,
That's the worst thing you could have said.
For those of you that remember Bright, it's a movie about a couple of cops doing something. I don't even remember. And anyway,
yeah.
the point is, it's like, look at this cop movie, but it's got a twist because it's fantasy.
Yeah.
This one's like, look at this cop movie, but it's got a twist because one of them's not a cop,
Yeah.
and it's superheroes.
We're gonna change one thing about gritty crime movies, but we're not
Yeah.
gonna build out that concept too far.
right.
You know, it's
And-
like the video game you only have unlocked so much of. The rest of the map
Yeah.
is just blackness. You
Right,
know,
right.
you can't even see where the rest of the game is.
Yeah, and what's weird is like the premise is great, the concept is great, but it almost holds it back too, because you know, like, okay, let's say somebody pops a pill in front of you, all you have to do is outrun this person for 5 minutes.
See ya.
You know what I mean? Like that's it.
Yeah.
So yeah, they turn into somebody that like shoots laser beams or they shoot needles or whatever. Cool, but like all you have to do is just hide for 5 minutes.
Can I also just point out too that invulnerability is always going to be a part of superhero films because it's a very budget friendly power.
Yes, it
it
is.
doesn't cost any money. Just have your actor unrealistically making it through a fight.
Yeah,
Meanwhile,
correct.
like super speed is really hard to do.
Yeah,
Lots
yeah.
of cool powers are really hard to do, which is why when you see them done right, they're awesome. And then when you see TV shows about them, it's super like Luke Cage and Jessica Jones and the Iron Fist. I mean, hell, they all had really budget friendly powers, and that's why you see them all the time, and that's why they're so tired.
What's weird about these powers too is they make the point that all of these powers are derived from, like, you know, I guess vestiges of animal DNA in our system or whatever. And so but I'm like, they make a point at one point to be like, just like the animal, I forget what it is, I forget the example, but it's like, just like this animal can make itself colder, so too can we now have ice powers. And I'm like, that's not how it works.
No,
that's not how it works in the animal kingdom.
That's a big jump.
Show me an animal that like shoots ice out of his mouth.
Yeah,
and then I'll believe you.
It's the same science as Jurassic Park. It's like we crossbred this frog with this, and we made this dinosaur that could do frog things. It's like these biomarkers would never accept each other.
Right.
This isn't real.
It's so strange, and then there's like the guy, like one of the first powers you see is a guy who is basically like the Human Torch. He turns into fire.
Okay.
What's kind of cool about it is it's a realistic take on it, because the Human Torch always just goes flame on.
Yeah.
He's fire, and then he turns it off, and he's just a guy.
It's fine.
Right. But this is like he turns into fire and his skin burns.
Yeah.
So there's like a little bit of, I kind of don't want to take this pill because it's burning my flesh off. And that's kind of cool. It's kind of scary.
Sure.
But like that's the one of the first powers we see in the film, and it never reaches that height again of like
that
being
man's in the hospital, Dustin.
Yes.
Correct. He can only do it once.
He can only do it once. But it's so weird. Like just the way that it unfolds is so cliche and formulaic. And essentially the premise, while strong, is also the very thing that holds the film back. And I wish it was more of something, like maybe if it was more of a superhero movie and used the superhero structure and twisted it in interesting ways, then you'd have something cool. Or if it treated itself like a horror movie and these powers are scary. Yeah. Right. Like your flesh burning off, then it's essentially a monster movie. And if it was a horror movie, then okay, maybe that would be something. Or anything like they could have done a number of things to make this inherently interesting, but instead they never fully let it be a cop movie. They never fully let it be a superhero movie. They never fully let it be a drama or a comedy, despite the fact that Jamie Foxx is good at both and does both in this film. They never really settled on what the film was or what it wanted to be. And then you have like things that are out of left field. Like I was talking about when the teacher says, rap for me. Well, that's great. And I guess that's a character moment. But so she gets up and she does the rap, but then you find out it was all in her head. And in reality, she's really just sitting there blank faced looking at him. And I'm like, but there's no other moment in the film where there's like a dream sequence like that. So it kind of like defies its own storytelling language. Yeah. And it's so convoluted and just sort of like a misstep on so many levels. And it's becoming, maybe to some it's already here, but it's becoming kind of a cliche to say Netflix films kind of are just kind of dumpy. Yeah. Like the phrase dumped on Netflix, we were afraid that would be a thing. Yeah. And it's kind of a thing. It's
worse. It's dumped by Netflix.
Yeah, exactly.
It's dumping on itself.
It's just like, here you go, whatever. Yeah. These two actors. Yeah. And okay, like I admire that they get high level talent to be in these films. Right. But that's it. They're essentially schlocky B movies, and this is no different than like
direct to DVD. It sounds like.
Yeah, and it's no different than like all the 90s movies like Samurai Cop and Hollywood Cop and like all of that. This is just superhero cop. Right. Only he's not a cop. Only one of them is a cop. And it's just a B movie. Mm-hmm. And so I guess if you want something schlocky that you can just kind of turn on and laugh at, maybe you can get something out of this. But if you're looking for a decent movie and a decent way to spend an hour and 53 minutes, this isn't it. So I can't say that it actually pissed me off, because all I can say is that I was so detached from it that I didn't care. Yeah. Which is almost in a way worse than like, at least with the other, I have a reaction, but I don't have a reaction here. It's just kind of like this film exists. So I can't give it 3 stars and say it's fine, but I can't really give it 2 stars and say it pissed me off. Or I guess 2 stars is it didn't really piss me off. It didn't piss
you off.
I guess it didn't piss me off, but not because it's good. It didn't piss me off because I didn't care. So I guess it's 2 stars.
Right.
But I almost just want to withdraw all stars from it just on technicality of how detached I was. So I can't even say negative, like it's 0 stars. All I can say is it's like non-existent stars.
It's like you want to give it like 1 star with an asterisk next to it with that sentence you just said, but you don't want the asterisk to appear as if it is a 2nd star next to the first one.
Right, exactly. It's a big star, little star.
Sure.
Oh, does that mean half?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I unreview this?
Right. Can I unwatch all? Is my superpower that I can go back in time and stop watching this movie?
Wouldn't that be great if your power was like, I hated that film. You just you sit down. Okay. I got my time back.
Or I loved that film. I want to watch it again for the first time.
Oh.
Hey, now that's a power.
Yep. Huh.
What if your power was time travel, but you could only time travel for 5 minutes? Because the high only lasts for 5 minutes. But if your power is time travel, then wouldn't you technically be able to travel forever? Because time is irrelevant.
Whoa.
Your high is 5 minutes, but you could always just return back to the exact second that you left. And then it's like you could live 1,000,000 lifetimes in 5 minutes.
Whoa. That should go on a poster. You can live 1,000,000 lifetimes in 5 minutes.
In 5 minutes.
In 5 minutes.
In just 5 minutes.
On Disney. Live your entire life in 5 minutes on Disney.
On Disney. The new Disney Channel original movie, Project Time Travel.
Project Powerless. Project Power Play. Power Buddies on Disney XD.
Power Buddies.
Power Buddies. It's just those golden retrievers with powers.
Yes. Now that would be a movie.
Can I
Project Power, but with golden retrievers?
Yeah. Power Buddies. Air Power.
Air Power.
Project Buddies. Okay. All right then.
All right. There you go. Project Power.
Cool. We're going to shift gears 100% here. All right. So I dipped my toe into the controversy pool this time, and I watched a film that has been very much talked about in pop culture lately, and so we're gonna talk about why that is, and I did not get the result I expected from seeing this film. So let's talk, because we must, about Cuties.